directors, staff and welcome to the gallery. Start by having an acknowledgement of country. I'd like to acknowledge the Yorke people, the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, and pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to other Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are present today. I'd like to ask you to stand for the opening prayer. Lord, we ask you for your blessing on this council. May we all work together to advance the well-being of our communities. Grant to each of us the wisdom to know what is right and the courage to do what is good for all. We ask this blessing. Amen. Okay. We have a leave of absence. It was Councillor Gray. Move to apologies. We have an apology for Councillor Meyer and Councillor LaFou. Do we have any conflict of interest? Nothing? Questions without notice? Nothing? All right, we'll move straight to the debate agenda, and I'll call on Daniel to give us an overview of what we're about to embark on.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. So tonight we have before us a report to receive and give appropriate consideration to all relevant submissions, and then adopt the annual business plan for the 25-26. What I just want to share with you is how we got to this point. Council budget preparation for 25-26, which forms the basis of the annual business plan, has spanned a period from December 24 through to July 25, some 8 months. It's involved the input of budget managers and Council's financial services staff to develop a draft budget based on the following parameters. Zero-based budgeting. That's building the budgets from a starting point of zero rather than just indexing the budget from the year before. Retaining current service levels, not increasing the level of service or decreasing the level of service to our community, but giving them what they expect and what we're already delivering. And capital expenditure project proposals based on Council's endorsed strategic asset management plan with reference to IT strategic and caravan park financial management frameworks. And then all sits with reference to the updated endorsed long-term financial plan, which was endorsed in May 25. This sets the forward projections and gives us a reference point for the budget. Opportunity was provided to community groups and elected members over January 25 and December 24 to submit project bids for budget consideration. Internal review of early draft budgets by financial services staff, Council's corporate management team and budget managers prior to engaging elected members through information and briefing sessions. Information and briefing sessions were conducted, 4 of them, in March and April, open to the public, providing ample opportunity for all elected members to engage in the process by receiving information, holding discussions, sharing opinions and asking questions in relation to the proposals set before them prior to committing to public consultation. Presentation material was provided to elected members on Council's SharePoint site, so whether present at the meeting or absent, all members have been informed and able to engage with Council staff during this period in relation to development of the budget and its components. Information and briefing sessions considered the major elements of Council's budget, including operating budgets, capital budgets and rate model. The draft plan was presented to Council's Audit and Risk Committee, which has in its makeup independent members appointed on a skills basis to be reviewed and recommended to Council for public consultation. That approval for public consultation happened on June 11, 2025, and the public consultation period was open between 17th of June 25 and 9th of July 25. This was after the elected members endorsed the rate model for inclusion in the annual business plan for public consultation. 3% increase to general rates after rebates on the amount raised in the year before. And that brings us to tonight's meeting, where councillors receive and give appropriate consideration for all relevant submissions prior to adopting the annual business plan. The report before the Chamber includes 4 submissions received, all of which are largely related to questions which flesh out aspects of Council's proposed annual business plan, or more widely upon Council's operations in general. Staff member responses are included in the body of the report. Now, I commend receipt and consideration of these submissions and adoption of the annual business plan as amended to the elected body. I note the amendments are minor and relate largely to the inclusion of 3 community group projects whose contributions have now been confirmed, adjustments to rates information based on valuation movements provided by the Office of Value General, and other minor amendments and corrections. So, happy to pass back to Acting Mayor.
Just in relation to the minor amendment.
And yes, there is, apologies. One amendment that I'll raise is being pointed out in section D on page 41 of the annual business plan. Section D, budgeted statement of changes in equity. The addition total equity balance at end of reporting period is to be amended. It says 339,585. It should be 344,206. The columns did not add together correctly in that case, so that was a typo that needs to be amended. Otherwise, I recommend the submissions and the annual business plan to you.
Thank you. Okay, so we go straight to 8.1, which is the draft annual business plan and budget, public consultation, and annual business plan adoption. We have a recommendation in front of you, and what do you say? Councillor Boyle.
Move recommendation.
Pardon?
You move that, and do we have a second?
I've just got a question actually.
Pardon?
I've got a question, is that right?
I think I'll take a second on this.
Sure.
Second by Councillor Bittner.
Can you sorry, Councillor Stock, just for clarification, so you're moving recommendation 1 and 2 with the amendment as described, and make a note there and what Daniel was read out in relation to section D on page 41, 344,206, not the 339,585, so we make a note of that amendment to the document that's currently tabled as the annual business plan.
Yes, I should have said that the recommendation is 1 and 2 as a whole. Councillor Stock.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. Just a couple of questions. There's a budget item for Port Julia for some seating, and I'm just trying to find the exact page that it's on and the exact amount, but it was around $32,000 mark, and I was just wondering whether that full amount is being allocated to Port Julia as part of the budget.
Just refer to
I will refer to Daniel for clarification on these matters.
Through the Acting Mayor, I can advise that Port Julia Progress Association is making a contribution to that. It was one of the budget bids that was listed. They've confirmed their contribution to that. So that is the total value of that project. They're contributing roughly, I think they poured roughly $27,000 towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the total amount for the project.
That's the total amount of the project, inclusive of their contribution.
Right, thank you. Yeah, thanks for confirming that. Just on page
So could I
35.
further advise that I have corresponded directly with them on that, and they've confirmed that understanding.
Oh, excellent, thank you. Page 35 of the document, just in the draft document, there's an indication that the expenses for the illegal dumping is around 10.9% of the budget, and then in the actual final business plan, it refers to 3.6. So I was just wondering whether that amount there, seeing there's a significant change, whether there's any explanation that we're able to provide.
Yeah, quite through the mayor. Yeah, quite right. There was some minor, in looking at the percentage table there was a typographical error which was fixed at the start of the plan, whilst not mentioning it specifically. No change to the budget allocation, but that percentage figure was wrong in the draft plan.
Okay. So just on that, we've, I guess, gone through the document in a fair bit of detail. We've got the draft and the other, like the final document, but it is quite difficult to identify what changes have been made. You sort of have to go through with a fine-tooth comb. So the person who's preparing the document is obviously well aware of, you know, what's changing from the draft to the final document. But for us as elected members, it's actually quite difficult to ascertain what's changing. And of course, well, in this instance where there's been an error, that hasn't been pointed out to us before now. So that's, once again, we're sort of, but we're accepting what's provided is correct, but we don't really know if there is something if there's an anomaly somewhere, or if there's, you know, further clarification needed potentially. So I think what would have been better for us is to actually receive a tracked changes document like we received when we change a policy. So then it's very clear that if the number has been changed, or one, whether it was a mistake the first time or whether there is an actual budget adjustment, we can see where those changes are. Because there's been a few changes throughout the document, and unless it's spelled out to us, it's up to us to try to find it. So I'm just not entirely sure that we have that really clear information before us to be able to support the document this evening, just on that basis.
Can I just say this? The document has gone through a fair few eyes to this stage, and I don't know how long we would need as non-financial people. You may be better than I, councillor, but I'm of the opinion we have to trust the people that are working for us, and the amount of people that would have gone over this document. Personally, I'm satisfied that what we see is what we get, right? But I take your point that then a breakdown of what the difference between the draft and the draft document is. But at this point, I don't see why we would change.
Taking on board Councillor Stock, Daniel, could you please provide some commentary about the changes? They were summarised within the report. I think now you can maybe speak to it, please.
So it's thinking through the bit. So there's two places where, well, not two places throughout the report, but the public consultation section of the annual business plan, when it's finalised, there's a requirement if there's significant changes to bring those to the fore. There are no significant changes in the annual business plan. There's no change of rating level. There's no major changes to the budget or the exclusion, removal of significant projects or anything like that. There is a list of changes that are made in that document there, including the introduction section. Due to, we've had 3 projects included, so you can imagine when you include net $60,000 of, it's amazing how many changes, when you include 3 projects, you need to go through and update the numbers, and it might shift a percentage. So, you know, our capital spend is slightly more, so you need to go through and update those. Public consultation and review section's obviously been updated because it lists the changes that have been made and that public consultation has occurred. Setting the rates section's updated on page 19 to update final valuation data for rateable properties. So we've got 3 months worth of data that's come in. Rating strategy section, because the values have changed, then the percentages and things on rates have changed, so that needs to change each year as well. Key financial measures, there's been movement of a point in a couple of, or a percentage due to the inclusion of a couple of new capital projects. Capital works program's been updated so that there was previously an asterisk next to the 3 projects saying that we need to confirm the contributions from these rate groups. They've been confirmed now, so the asterisk has been taken away and those dollar values have been included. And the analysis of the total budget section, yeah, there was an error found in the percentage list. It doesn't change the dollar values in anything or in the budget you're doing, but that was picked up, and due to those changes, some of those percentages have shifted around. They're really the key changes that have been made in this document, and none of which is significant or should be, in my mind, of concern to the elected members or the community.
Thank you. All right. Yes, Councillor John?
Yes, thank you, Stephen Mayor. I'm really quite concerned about what we've got before us here. I've been over and over and again, spent the whole day going through it again today, because whilst we've been alluded to, perhaps there's some discrepancies and errors and so on, the thing that hits me, and through Mr. Mayor, I'm required the CEO to table the following documents for council relating to the motion that is before this meeting. The one that really sticks out to me, I've gone back through and through it, and I know there could be some other considerations in here, but please table the document clarifying why the portion allocated for the removal of the dumped asbestos decreased from 10.9% shown in the draft annual business plan on 11th of June 25 to 3.6% in the amended business plan on 23rd of July 25. This significant change needs clarification, and it's a really significant amount of money of that percentage to our budget. As this is a significant amendment in the business plan, we must include in the adopted business plan a statement setting out any significant amendments from the draft annual business plan and providing reasons for those amendments. Can you please table the statement required for section 123, bracket 6A to be included in the annual business plan? Please, we know that there's been lawyers verified, so please table the document produced by Kelly Jones lawyers to verify legal compliance of the recommendation presented in today's report. Because I haven't seen that. And please table the amended annual business plan in a version as, and I think Councillor Stock may have already mentioned some of the things that I've prepared here, but and this one in particular, please table the amended annual business plan in a version allowing the reader to easily identify all changes, because that's a lot of toing and frying back and forward pages, trying to go back to numbers to refer to items. So easily identify all changes and amendments similar to the method used for changes made to council policies. Really, this is a serious motion before the council, and I think we've got to be really sure of what we're about to adopt. And I just feel as though I'm unwilling to have this put to the vote. I'm unwilling to vote until at least those 4 points attempted to.
So this is where we are. We have a member, a councillor requesting documents to be tabled and indicates he's unable to vote until documents are tabled. Is that what you're saying? Okay. I seek council's approval by a show of hands to suspend these proceedings so I can seek advice from council administration, and will resume proceedings once that advice is received by me. We have a show of hands whether we suspend council meeting for me to get that advice. Those in favour? No. So we I accept what you're saying, Councillor Johns, but the rest of the council I see are not supporting. They are not willing to for the administration to give me any more information than you have.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Excuse me, can I ask everybody to speak up? It's really difficult for us to hear back here.
Well, I suggest, councillor, just move your microphones a bit closer to your body, I think. Okay. So the documents, Councillor Johns, do not exist, are not relevant, and in my view, so consideration of the matter will continue. So we have a motion before us. Proposed by councillor Hall, second by councillor Bittner. Those in favour of the recommendation? Those against? Carried.
Divisions,
Called it, councillor Johnson's called a division. Those in favour, beg your pardon, please stand. Thank you. So I declare that the motion is now carried. Okay, so we move to 8.2, which is the adoption of the budget, property valuations and declaration, rates and service charges. As you have in front of you, councillors, this recommendation, 8.2, comes with 10 different properties, so we have to go through them individually, and we need a mover and a seconder, and those in favour of each one. So number one is adoption of the budget. Do we have a mover? Councillor O'Connell? And seconded? Councillor Clerk. Those in favour? Carried. Number two, adoption of valuations. And I am assuming, and perhaps I shouldn't, but I'm assuming everyone has read it and understand what we're voting on. So number two, do we have a mover? Councillor Bittner? Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hoyle? Those in favour? Against? Councillor Johnson? Are you voting on both? Yes, for and against? You had your hand up for both. So you're moving, you're in favour. All right, that is carried. Number three, determination of basis for differential rates, which is number three. Do we have a mover? Councillor O'Connell. Second, Councillor Boyle. Those in favour? Carried. Number four, declaration of general rates. This is number four. Do we have a mover? Councillor Clerk, second by Councillor Bittner. Those in favour? Carried. Number five, the service charges, which includes community 5.1 and 5.11. Okay, so we're going to do them individually as a whole. Yeah, number 5, 5.1, 5.11. Somebody like to move that? Councillor Boyle, second by Councillor Scott. Those in favour? Carried. 5.2, water supply scheme annual service charges. We have a mover. Councillor O'Connell, second by Councillor Clerk. Those in favour? Carried. Number 7 is 5.3, waste collection and recycling annual service charges. Do we have a mover? Councillor Hoyle, second by Councillor Stock. Those in favour? Carried. Number 6, declaration of separate rates. Do we have a mover? Councillor Clerk, Councillor Bittner, you'll second that. Those in favour? Carried. Number 7, rates payments, which is number 9. We have, and that carries 7.1 and 7.2. We have a mover, Councillor Bittner, and seconded by Councillor Hoyle. Those in favour? Carried. Number 10 is number 8, rates rebates. Do we have a mover? Councillor Clerk, and second by Councillor O'Connell. Those in favour? Carried. So, councillors, I thank you for your diligence and getting through that matter. We go to 8.3, which is the council's response to the harmful algae bloom. And we have a recommendation that council advocates for the federal government to declare the South Australian harmful algae bloom a national disaster, a national natural disaster. Beg your pardon? Well, before we move this, it is on our workshop agenda for more discussion. So do we have a mover for Councillor Boyle and Councillor Murdoch? Are you seconding that?
Yes.
Thank you. Those in favour? Carried. Right, so general business. Do anybody have any general business? No? Next meeting. Oh, beg your pardon, I didn't see you, Councillor.
At the last meeting, we talked about the heavy vehicle actors, and I've since been contacted directly by a representative from DIT, and they agreed that perhaps what they proposed with intersection restrictions was a bit of an overreach. So they intend to communicate with industry representatives and revisit that. They were trying to make the whole process easier. Yorke Peninsula Council was commended on what they did towards that, and they've perhaps just gone a little bit harder than they intended. So they intend to look at that in the near future, and they would sooner do that in a more informal format rather than have it escalated to industry bodies and parliamentary level.
Well, I think that's a win for everybody, that they're coming to the table and having a discussion. Director Conklin, do you have any comment on that? No, thank you. Any other general business? No. Well, the next meeting will be Wednesday the 13th of August 2025. So we'll close the council meeting and we'll move to our information and workshop.
No.